Today is Sunday, April 12th, 2026, and today is National Grilled Cheese Sandwich Day, which feels like one of those things that doesn't need to be improved, and yet people keep trying anyway. Welcome to This Day in History from Wait, That's Random. I'm your host, C.L. Burns. Today in 1204, Crusaders breached and sacked the city of Constantinople. What makes this moment unusual isn't just the violence, it's who carried it out. The Crusades were originally aimed at reclaiming Holy Land, but instead of moving toward their intended target, the Crusaders diverted and attacked one of the most important Christian cities in the world. Constantinople was wealthy, fortified, and culturally significant, and yet it fell not to an outside enemy, but to forces that were supposed to be aligned with it. When goal shifts, whether intentionally or gradually, the outcome can move far from the original purpose. And once that shift happens, it can be difficult to reverse. The result wasn't just a military victory. It weakened the Byzantine Empire in a way that it never fully recovered from. And sometimes moments like that don't just redirect something. It starts something. And just yesterday we talked about Lincoln's last speech, which is almost 4 years to the date of when Confederate forces fired on Fort Sumter in South Carolina, marking the beginning of the American Civil War. Tensions had been building for years, political disagreements, economic divides, and fundamentally different views on the structure of the country. But until that moment, it hadn't turned into open conflict. Then, it did. There's often a point where pressure builds gradually until something triggers action. And once that line is crossed, the situation changes completely. What had been debate becomes conflict. What had been uncertainty becomes reality. The attack on Fort Sumter didn't resolve anything. It defined the start. And once something begins at that scale, it's difficult to contain. And sometimes instead of large-scale conflict, change happens in a much smaller, quieter way. On April 12, 1877, the first catcher's mask was used in baseball. Before that, catchers stood behind the batter with little protection. No mask, no real shielding, just reaction time. Injuries were common. The introduction of the mask didn't change the game itself, but it changed how the game could be played. When the risk is reduced, behavior changes. Players can position themselves differently, focus differently, and react differently. A small piece of equipment with a big difference. Not by changing the rules, but by changing what was possible within them. And while some changes reshape history or systems, others shape how people communicate and interact. Which brings us to a birthday today. David Letterman, born on April 12, 1947, became one of the most influential late-night television hosts, known for a style that felt more informal, more self-aware, and often unpredictable. He didn't just follow the structure of traditional talk shows. He played with it, questioned it, and sometimes disrupted it. Changing how something feels can change how people engage with it, even when the format stays the same. If you look back at these moments together, something starts to connect. A mission shifts direction and weakens something from within. A moment of escalation turns tension into conflict. And a small change makes a system safer and more effective. Different scales, different outcomes. But each one shows how change doesn't always come from outside forces. Sometimes it comes from shifts in direction, pressure, or design. Anyway, those are a few things I found while sifting through April 12th. Stop by tomorrow and we'll see what the internet decides to show us. If you want to know more about me or the work I do, you can find everything at waitthat'srandom.com. I'm C.L. Burns, and I appreciate you stopping by.